Episode 9 is set to offer tons of twists and turns as well as surprises in this movie by writer and director J.J. Abrams. This is Mike Zero. If you guys are new to the channel, do make sure to subscribe to see future Star Wars content. Now, one thing a lot of fans are really curious about seeing in this movie is, of course, how the characters will interact with each other, that, of course, being both Kylo Ren and Rey. Now, two things. We know that J.J. Abrams is taking Kylo Ren down a far darker path and a more twisted path in this movie, and will be changing a lot of elements of Rey in Episode 9. Now, these past couple of weeks or so, we've been learning a whole lot more about this film when it comes to some of the set leaks, the set designs, the concept art, and storyboard descriptions, etc. One of which has all to do with a major hint and/or indicator of Rey's death being a thing in Episode 9. Specifically, a description of Rey in the pilot's seat of the Millennium Falcon with Ben Solo walking down the ramp and exiting the Falcon. It's described as a moment in which Rey is taking off on the Falcon without Ben's knowledge. The next goes over the Falcon leaving Ben and exiting the planet's atmosphere and heading toward the remaining superweapon, firing on the surface of the planet. The sequence is described as Rey's sacrifice. Another goes over Ben running to his starship, which is crash-landed, as he tries to catch up to Rey. It's described that this is the first time fans will see Ben making repairs on a ship, just like his grandfather Anakin Skywalker was able to. It's described that Ren's ship takes off and leaves the planet as he follows Rey and tries to intervene. So I want to go over a couple of parts about this and why this most definitely is a hint towards Rey's death in Episode 9. Now, will she actually die in the movie? Now, here's my take and here's my 2 cents on this situation. I believe that this is yet going to be another one of those gotcha moments in Episode 9. And what I mean by a gotcha moment is, you think she's going to die, or you think she died by, a certain sacrifice that was made, and then out of nowhere, out of the blue, she comes out and she's alive. So, we've seen great examples of this, and I don't know why, from this description as to why I'm thinking about The Dark Knight Rises. But you guys may very well know about that movie, where Batman, takes off his actual flying device over into the Batwing, I believe it's called, all the way over out into the ocean, and he heads towards the nuke, and it just blows up, and you think he's dead. But at the very end of the film, they talk about how he pretty much, actually created the autopilot technique. So, I could totally see Rey doing something like that in this movie. Do I think that she's actually going to die per se in Episode 9? There's a big possibility for sure. If J.J. Abrams really wants to surprise fans and do a reverse of Return of the Jedi, he could totally do a reverse Return of the Jedi ending. And what I mean by that is where you have the main villain actually living on, who actually turns to the good side, and the actual hero dies and perishes and pretty much is left behind. It's kind of like imagining at the very end of Return of the Jedi, if Vader saved Luke Skywalker from the Emperor, electrocuting him, but it was too late. Now Darth Vader has turned to the good side, but Luke Skywalker dies prematurely, and Vader lives on as a light side character. That's pretty much what this scenario could very well be in Episode 9, where basically the last Skywalker lives on, but the main hero perishes. Now, on the other hand, I think that there are a lot of other hints that we have gone over before in the past, such as an unconscious Rey in Kylo Ren's arms on the ground with fire around them, as you guys may have heard about, I would say 2.5 weeks ago. Very interesting for sure. We do know that at the very end of this movie, in the Colin Trevorrow version of the script, Daisy Ridley was crying about her character. And mind you, some of the elements from his script actually transferred on over into J.J. Abrams' finalized version of the script as he did some rewrites and adjustments. So, it's very possible that she is indeed going to die in this movie. Now, everything else apart from this, the only thing that I'm really concerned about is this also a hint of the Falcon's destruction? A lot of people are worried about what's going to happen to the Millennium Falcon, one of the most iconic ships in the Star Wars universe. I mean, at this point, I think you can pretty much call the Falcon a character. That's how iconic it really is. So, if this thing, let's say, for example, heads toward this major superweapon, which I believe is a world devastator, because it's shooting down upon the planet and pretty much, restructuring the surface of this planet's surface. Now, it's very possible that she's going to head towards that actual super weapon and pretty much lunge the Falcon into the core of it all and blow it up, and as she ejects out of a pod, or into a pod, and pretty much that would be the gotcha moment in episode 9 of her death. Very possible. But what I find very intriguing is the mention of Rey's sacrifice and Rey leaving Ben Solo behind, and pretty much, kind of going in for the sacrifice. Kind of a similar situation here to what Finn was going to do in The Last Jedi before Rose intervened. In this scenario, it's like Kylo Ren is the Rose of that Last Jedi moment, where he's trying to catch up to her and prevent her from doing such a sacrifice. Or maybe this is him actually trying to take her out. We're not quite sure. Anyways, guys, drop a comment below. Let me know what you think about all of this in the comments. And if you guys did enjoy the content for today, do make sure to drop a thumbs up on this video to support the channel. I thank you all so very much for the kind support, and I'll catch you guys next time.